Tell me your name.
Wilda P. Crawford.
Okay. And where were you born?
Albany, Georgia.
And when were you?
County,
okay.
Albany, Georgia.
Sorry. And when were you born?
January 2nd, 1939.
Okay. And who were your parents?
Clyde and Willie B. Person.
Okay. And how many siblings did you have?
One brother.
Okay.
Clyde Person Jr.
All right. Now, a lot of times my very first question to some of your peers that were here in 1961 as activists is, what are some of your very first memories growing up here in Albany?
Well, I lived on Corn Avenue in Albany, Georgia. In later years, we moved to Madison Street, which is not very far from that point. My father, we lived in a rented house, and my father bought a house, and we moved to Madison Street. They were working people, the usual jobs, working for the white establishment. And then we went to school, my brother and I. Went to elementary school, high school, so on.
Do you remember anything about, because you brought something up about your parents being regular working folk. What did your dad do for a living?
He worked at the bank. Well, first he worked at the Albany Laundry Company, and my mother was a housekeeper at the very beginning. Then she got a job working in a gift store.
As a clerk?
No.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was an African American store.
Not that time. Not at that time, no.
Okay, all right. Now back to this whole memories of growing up. When was it that you noted the difference being made in Albany's society at the time between blacks and whites?
At that time, in the very beginning, I don't remember. I knew that I was black, and there were white people, but getting to like into the movement itself, the civil rights movement itself, I didn't even think anything. I think maybe we were just couldn't distinguish between black and white. You knew it was there, but that was it.
Okay, then here's my next question. Did your parents prepare you and your brother in any way to deal with that difference?
No. I don't remember them preparing us for it.
Okay, so they didn't sit you down and give any explanations about how you should act going downtown and what you should and should not do, and okay. So what are some of your childhood memories?
Well, my father was always kind of forward. He always, if he wanted things for the betterment of us, he always asked the people that was, well, you know, it was the white man that was in control to get it. Because I can remember at that time we wanted a TV, and that was a luxury at that time, and he knew, how to get it, and then he asked for it and he got it. We had a account at the store, and we asked for that, and I just remember him. The cost of things at that time was so different, because I know their rent was like maybe $1.50 or something, and that was big money at that time. And he could go get groceries and stuff, and it was a grand time, because he always got himself out there and did.
Back to the neighborhood now. Mama was over here in the store next door, running the store. Okay, what about the other children on the block? Was this a predominantly African American neighborhood?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Okay. Do you remember any kids on the street that you?
Oh yeah, well, Henry Coleman that I told you about. She lived right up the street from me. the Taylor family, children lived across from me. I played with them somewhat, but I really didn't play with that many people in my neighborhood. It was people that was from other neighborhoods and was older than I. And that Annie Jones, she and I remember the same. She lived very far from me too, and she attended the same church and was very active. We both were in the church there in the neighborhood.
Which church was it?
Mount Olive Baptist Church. First Mount Olive, there's a second Mount Olive over here in the side of town. First Mount Olive Baptist Church.
All right. Now moving forward, what are things that you remember about school? Where did you end up going to school?
Monroe High School. Well, to start off, I went to Mercer Street School. We were talking about that this morning. From first grade to I think it was the fourth grade or fifth grade. Then we went to Monroe High School.
And what are some of the things that you remember that
that was a joyous time.
Tell me about it.
Joyous time. The teachers there was very caring. Well, one lady the two ladies that my teachers, Maggie Brown. Do you know the Nobles? Maggie Brown. They were a very permanent family. Maggie Brown. She was a great teacher, very inspiring. And Miss what's that lady's name? Thomas, Mary Thomas. And there was a Mary Thomas in my class too. But this lady was a teacher of math. She's very strict, very good with children, and was a lover of children. That was in elementary school. And went to high school. Miss Wright, Ann Wright. She was a music, and at one time I really could have went further with singing, but I didn't do anything about that. I just sang in the choir and stuff like that. But I really could have extended myself and went further, but I didn't. That was during time. Rutha Harris, would you know her? She was in the choir with us, and you know how far she went. She and the lady I can't even think of her name. Bernice. They're younger than me. I think she's right behind me, one class, maybe two classes. But that was in high school.
Now, what kind of teenager were you? I mean, were you curious? Did you want to know about everything, or were you just quiet?
Semi.
Okay.
I think I've got more rambunctious since I got older, and I want to talk forever and curious and want to know everything. But then I was just a quiet person. Sometimes I wonder now how I ever got into the civil rights movement. Well, my father was very big on education, and he always wanted us to be educated, because he always said, "It's no, when you're in your childhood with your parents and stuff, they do different things to kind of hinder you from being what you could be." And he always said, "I want you all to be educated, because that is the key to a better future." And so that's how, with him talking about it, and I wanted to better myself and be the best I could be. And I came to understand.
You had no aspirations to go anywhere else, because there was one student, one of your peers, that was talking about he wanted to go to Georgia Tech, but because they wouldn't admit him, he was really upset about that, because he was African American. But did you have aspirations to go anywhere else?
I just wanted to go to college. My father said that's what he would pay for me to go there. He was, I wouldn't say he made me do it, but that's what he said he would do, and I just was satisfied with that.
Okay.
I was going to college.
Now,
that was the main thing.
When did you start at Albany State? What year do you remember?
Let me see. I finished high school in 1957, so I must have went the next year, or maybe 59.
Now, What kind of student were you once you got here? Were you involved in a bunch of organizations? Tell me about your
I was not in an organization, that much. I was just a student.
Okay.
What's that name?
Okay.
I was just about like when I was in high school. I didn't participate that much in things. That's the usual things, studies and all.
So then here's the next question. And you know what it is. How is it being, quiet and unassuming and going about your classes and getting your studies? How is it that you end up getting sucked into the movement when SNCC comes onto campus that October in 1961? How do you end up,
My friends, that's how, my friends, they talked about it. We started going to those meetings, and they would come back and, when they were going to the meetings, come back and, I know Henry was, and it might have been other people, I can't remember who those people were. I wasn't really that close to Annette. I knew of her, I knew of Bernice and Ruth. I don't remember Janie with that, but Henry, and it was that other girl I was telling you, but I couldn't remember who she was. They went to the meetings. They come back and would tell us about, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. We need to get aboard. And that's how I got involved with that. It was exciting. I got curious about stuff. We could make things better. Don't remember how we got arrested. I don't remember what we were doing. Well, we were marching, and they didn't know we were supposed to be doing that. And they arrested us, and they sent Henry and several others, I can't remember other people, to Leesburg, Georgia, to that jail. Some people were jailed here in Albany, but they sent us to, maybe I would say it was about maybe 5 or 6 or more of us were sent to and I think Ruther went there too, to jail in Leesburg.
Okay.
Now we were in jail, but we were happy in jail. It was no sadness, about it. We know we were arrested. We know we were in clothes locked up, and we sang. People fed us. They brought us food and stuff. My parents did that. Henry's mother did it. We just had a joyous time. Doing what we did. Wasn't. How you be locked up. You're not free, but.
Were the cells cramped or anything like that?
What?
The cells,
no,
were they cramped?
No,
or?
No.
So y'all had a smaller group in Leesburg.
It was a smaller group. It wasn't a huge group. I can't remember.
Okay, now how long did you remain in jail, locked up?
We might have been in there, it wasn't a week or nothing like, maybe, there again.
How'd you get out? Did your parents?
My parents had to get, and that was another ordeal, because they had to pay to get us out. My father was not pleased with that. In fact, he told me before we got locked up that it might lead to that, and we were just so into it, and so we, went on to what we did, and after he got us out, he told me that it was between saying you did a good thing, but I wish you had done it this way, because you put property to get you out, and that is not. When you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to better your surroundings, even though things were terrible at that time, they are better now. They can be better, and set your goals high as you can. Next to God, education is the key to anything that you want.